Hello, everyone. How you doing out there? Happy to see you. We are doing a pre-recorded version of this. It is Thursday. It's November 3rd, and it's around 9 o'clock. You're going to see this at 2. And we've done the homework, and we're ready for you a little bit earlier. We've got some pictures to take, don't we, Darren?
Sure, we do.
We've got a, we've got a new listing, so why don't you jump into that? Talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very large house in Silver Lake, almost 3,000 square feet, built in
Yeah.
2004. Truly, I know this word is used a lot, but truly an entertainer's house. Very large, common space, easy access to outdoor patios.
Uh-huh.
Built in 2004, everything's a little more modern. It's super clean, move-in ready. Yeah, we're taking photos today. We'll be open this weekend.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, so it'll be what, like Sunday, 1 to 4, that kind of thing?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I know we've been preparing the property. It looks great. It's staged, and yeah, it'll be a good challenge. It'll be an interesting one for sure. You mentioned the views, right? The awesome views.
Yeah,
Okay,
downtown
all right.
views for sure.
Just want to
Yeah.
make sure. Okay, all right. Okay, well, great. So next we're going to talk about Art Unite. After that, we're going to talk about the market in the form of mortgage rate news, and then also the local market, and then finally we're going to do our subject, which is about Santa Monica's dilemma with developers in the form of what's called builder's remedy. So we'll talk about that and how it impacts a good a good number of cities in Southern California, something like 124. And then we'll go into the usual seller wins, buyer wins, and we'll end out in about an hour or less. Okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see here. Share screen. Okay. Gosh, man, I got to get the brain moving here. It's just going slow. Um, so let me go ahead and do the disclaimer. Darren Hubert and Joe Cloninger are real estate agents at Avenue 8 under the Urban Hillsides brand. All opinions expressed by Urban Hillsides or guests on this video are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Avenue 8. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Urban Hillsides as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of Urban Hillsides team's opinions. This video is for informational purposes only. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go to Art Unite. And, Darren, I was looking at the site, and I think I fudged a bit on our countdown. It's actually 15 days away. But I wanted to freak people out a little, it's coming up. So November 17th, we have Art Unite, Art Show, and Auction. It benefits CCAC, Central City Action Committee, a dear Echo Park institution, I would say, over the last 50 some odd years, helping youth and their families in the neighborhoods, along with city beautification. So anti-graffiti efforts, stickers, all that ugly stuff and blight that you see out on the streets, these guys take care of. But they need a van. So for the fourth year, we are doing Art Unite. And, Darren, we've got a good number. I want to say we're in the 50s now. And we might be rowing up into the 70s or 80s, but we've got some great work. The most recent was Obey Giant, Shepherd Ferry. Those guys came in with, where is it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Can you see it?
I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cultivate Harmony. One of our regular artists, always there for us every year, David Fleury, just came in. And we've got some new ones. So we have Tom Lamb. I don't know if you can see this, but Tom does area maps. So we've got a Silver Lake, we've got a Los Feliz, and we've got Echo Park up for bid again on the 17th. Another one that you might see out on the street is Morley. He does a lot of street art. You'll see his pieces around the area. He contributed as well. So again, some great art here. It's a great cause. Please join us November 17th. You do need to RSVP. And for those that may not be as enthused about the art or may not have a budget for art, we also have raffle prizes. And I just want to say thanks to a number of sponsors. We have Masa of Echo Park. We have Casita del Campo. And a new one, Darren, is Calaveras. So Calaveras is a newer restaurant. It's on Silver Lake Boulevard as you get off on the exit there. You know that restaurant right in front of you as you take that right up to
Yep,
Sunset?
off the 101. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then another one that we just got, Ballard Hardware. So we'll have some great raffle prizes. Another media source, Los Feliz Community Guide, has also chipped in, and they'll be promoting the event. So again, thanks to all our sponsors. The Eastsider LA, they've been running ads on the site the last couple weeks. So again, it really is a community effort. So we hope you can get there.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on. We're going to go to what's next, man? God, there's so much stuff here. Let's see. We're going to go
Article.
to
Oh, let's do it. Mortgage rates.
yeah. Okay, so big news, Darren. Do you want to talk about it from yesterday on?
Sure. Kind of expected. 75 basis points increase from the Fed, saying that inflation.
And that makes does that make the third straight 75 basis point increase? Is it 3?
I believe they said it.
So.
Yeah, it's 3. There's been a 50 basis point, a quarter. It started with quarter, half, then it went up to 3/4.
Yeah.
I thought I read it was the 4th, but that seems like too much. I don't think it's been that much. So and you know, the current conversation is that they are expected to do another one in December. They meet the second week in December. So always feel the need to point out 75 basis points does not translate directly to a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. It seems to have gone up 0.2 in the past 2 days. It increased 1/10 this morning. We saw it increase, but rates are moving north, and this really is still about curbing inflation. I think there's a bit of an agenda to just halt pricing and reverse some pricing increases that we saw during the pandemic, and it's definitely having a bit of that impact on the market. Some more in other areas, and more in certain types of properties than others. But continual rising interest rate is just hurting affordability. Is the bottom line.
Yeah. Now, the argument that I've heard, and I'm going to go to this. Hold on. Is that, hey, you guys, you're going too fast, Powell and your crew over at the Fed. You need to see 6-9 months of impact based on what you're doing. You're moving too fast. How do you feel about that?
Well,
some truth to that?
I guess it depends on what they're trying to do with it. I think it's widely known that they started too late.
Right. The catch up.
So,
right.
Is it the catch up? And does the catch up work? It talked about even in after yesterday, are they able to hit that soft landing, or are they going to overshoot? The problem is you don't really understand the full impact. They do their best, obviously, but you don't know how these adjustments are going to affect the market until you see the effect in the market.
Right.
So this is why they meet every month and a half roughly. And they just, inflation is still rising. It's that simple. Right. That's basically what they keep saying.
Right.
But they also reference housing almost every time and the impact on housing.
Right.
They did say unemployment. I mean, they're trying to correct unemployment, actually have some slightly higher numbers. And it's not having that impact. Unemployment is very stable.
No.
So they're not getting the full impact of the results they want. That's why they're still moving. That's why they're still increasing.
All right. So there you go. Today's mortgage rates as of this broadcast right now, 30-year fixed 7.3, 15-year fixed 6.75, 30-year jumbo 6.35. I know you always point to that one. And then you got FHA, VA, and the 5/1 ARM at 6.9.
And
So
these guys, hey, we're just looking for some consistent reference points. We've definitely seen some slightly lower rates than what we're seeing on this site, but it's,
uh-huh.
maybe we're seeing six, maybe we're seeing 6 and an eighth compared to the 30-year jumbo here showing at 6.35.
Right.
So that's all local. That's all individual experiences with your lenders. But from where we started this, like really honing in on it, we were in the fives. We've definitely moved up a full 2 points since we started
Yeah.
tracking this weekly.
Well, I know everyone's trying to figure this out. My sister-in-law was talking about uh, her lender talking about a 2-1 buy down. Her interest rate was still like 7.1. I don't even understand why she's looking at this point. It's so tough to see her going through this. But for those that don't know, what is a 2-1 buy down, Darren? What's a simple way to talk about that?
Well, you're basically paying the lender in advance to get a lower rate, simply
Ah,
put.
okay. Yeah.
And the
For the
cost
first two
of
years, right?
sure, there's various this is where different lenders have different products
Ah,
and what
okay.
they can and cannot offer. I will say because we came across something a little more than a week ago. If you're a teacher,
Uh-huh.
boy, you should consider looking at your teacher options for loans, at least one specific
Right.
source. Let us know if you want to consider that because they had a great rate.
Yeah.
That was a very specific product for that isolated industry.
Well, right. And
Um,
in another market, we're not that bullish on credit unions, but yeah, tough to deny. It was a great rate.
Right, and it was an uncommon situation, and that the single thread, the uncommon component was that they were not reselling those on the secondary market, so they can establish whatever rate they wanted. As soon as you're selling them as a mortgage-backed security, you need to hit some industry numbers, and they were
Right.
substandard industry numbers.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. So hawkish. That's continuing. All right. Let me move on to more of a local view from our seller and buyer wins. Let me just bump this up a little. Oh, it's a little too bumpy. All right. So,
We went to our article, Joe.
yeah, yeah, but I think this kind of flows into what we were talking about, mortgage rates, and then like this
Okay,
small,
sure.
yeah, just super quick, yeah. So anyway, I think there was a total of 14 solds, so kind of steady. It went up a bit from, I think it was 11 last week, but median days on market there at the bottom, you'll see pretty steady again. It was 14 last week. I think it's 13 you see here. And as you look at those prices, some discounts, not crazy discounts there at the bottom, and most things going at list on up slightly. So, anything more to say about the local market? Do you feel like it's changed much, Darren?
Um, it's just gotten tighter. It's
Yeah,
specific some specific properties will still sell with multiple offers and get lots of
yeah,
attention,
yeah,
and some don't. Um, Simply put, sometimes it's explainable and understandable because there's a component of the property that might typically be overlooked
uh huh,
in a seller's market, which we've been in for so long. But
right,
sometimes there isn't. What seems like a great property should be selling. Again, it's an element of will here on who can hold out longer, buyers or sellers, um, and individuals' needs. Uh,
yeah,
so
yeah,
the Fed's getting a bit of the result that they want and creating a more balanced market. That's for sure.
yeah. And just looking at this, I mean, the what I did not highlight in yellow. Uh, it seems very reasonable. It's right there around list price. Uh, I think that might be a little different from last week, but you've always mentioned more realistic pricing will get things sold, and maybe that's what we're starting to see here. It's still a seller's market, but yeah, maybe more reasonable pricing is helping people now.
Yeah,
So
if you start high, you're chasing.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's the local market view. And I guess congratulations to Chris and Bibi, right, Darren? We were
Yeah.
leasing out their home out in Eagle Rock, and 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 5,000 a month. We found some great tenants for them.
Yeah, and Christina and Kimberly, the people who rented it. Yes,
That's awesome.
it was a good match. I think they really enjoyed the space.
That's great. Okay, so here we are. We're going to talk about our subject finally. Darren, this was something we started talking about, and it's called Builder's Remedy. Uh, the basic premise or story is that the state, and correct me when I'm wrong, the state requires a housing plan from every city. And I know Los Angeles is later; they got an extension because I think theirs was October as a deadline. But this is the case, an example of Santa Monica. So they missed their deadline. They did not have a housing plan approved by the state. And developers got a little creative with something called Builder's Remedy. And as I understand it, what they did is right after the deadline passed, they came in with like 12 or 15 plans or projects that included 20% of that development as affordable housing. And that's what's called the Builder's Remedy. And so they flooded Santa Monica with this, and it was something like 5,000 units. It was a lot of housing, and a lot of affordable housing as well. So Santa Monica wasn't happy with that because the state says, well, if you miss your deadline, then the developers can come in with this Builder's Remedy, and you can't say anything about it. It's going to happen. So Santa Monica lost control. Now, there are 124 cities in Southern California, I read, that have this issue, this challenge. And so it'll be happening in Redondo Beach, Pasadena, some other cities. But this story that we're going to read real quick talks about how they did get their approved housing plan done, Santa Monica, and now it looks like they're trying to reach back and get those developments that those developers put in under this Builder's Remedy loophole.
And have some say in it. Sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to happen. So let's go ahead and read this real quick. It states, state quickly closes Builder's Remedy loophole with okay of Santa Monica's housing plan. Housing agency sign-off means coastal city regains control of projects. Just like that, a golden loophole for developers in Santa Monica has closed. On Friday, days after city council members had revealed that the city's earlier failure to come up with an approved housing plan had led to a brief development bonanza, the California Department of Housing and Community Development, HCD, did in fact certify the city's updated housing strategy, thereby closing an opening for developers that had occurred when the same agency refused to certify an earlier version of Santa Monica's framework. The agency's approval was not unexpected. Santa Monica had been working with the state to ensure its new plan would be certified, but the green light from Sacramento nevertheless marked an important technical milestone because it ensures that the city of Santa Monica will once again have authority over local development approvals. The public, and even many members of Santa Monica government, had learned that the city had temporarily lost that authority at a council meeting only last week, when staff explained that the city's failure last fall to secure state approval meant that at least a dozen development projects were being automatically approved. This is not theoretical, Santa Monica planning manager Jing Yao said at last week's meeting. This is very real, and it's happening. One council member, Phil Brock, referred to the state's revocation of local control, a measure known as Builder's Remedy, as a hammer. Correct, Yao responded. Santa Monica's short-lived approval boom was the consequence of 1990's state law known as the Housing Accountability Act. Under the law, cities that are deemed non-compliant with their housing plans lose the ability to approve or deny projects with affordable housing components, and those projects instead are automatically approved, a function known as Builder's Remedy. Projects qualify if at least 20% of their units are affordable, or if the entire project is dedicated to moderate-income tenants. At the Santa Monica City Council meeting, which took place October 11th, a vote adopted a new housing element update, which then paved the way for the state approval on Friday. As part of its update, Santa Monica agreed to zone for nearly 9,000 new units. including more than 6,100 affordable units, according to a city press release. The release also notes that the adoption came after major changes in state law that both impacted the housing capacity studied and reduced local control for qualifying housing projects. Representatives for Santa Monica and HCD did not immediately respond to requests for comment on the state approval. While the state's approval means that Santa Monica once again has control over which projects it approves, the control does not apply retroactively. So certain projects that were submitted during the window while the city was out of compliance and automatically greenlighted will still have their approvals intact. Over the period that Santa Monica was out of compliance, which lasted months, developers submitted more than a dozen project applications that sought to add nearly 4,000 total units, or more than 7% of the city's existing housing stock. WSC Communities, a firm founded by Scott Walter and Neil Schechter, the prominent apartment developer and landlord, filed a majority of those applications. We felt this was the best way to try and get housing built as fast as possible, Walter, the firm's CEO, said last week. Without the Builder's Remedy fast track, the same approvals could have taken years to secure, if they came at all. All right. A lot to unpack there, but what do you think, Darren?
Well, private-public dynamics. So 1990s, somebody they approved a law that basically said cities and government, you're too inefficient and you're hurting the overall system by your inefficiency.
So this isn't a problem overnight. This has been happening over a couple of days.
Absolutely. It's a private-public constant situation. Yeah. And I don't know if there's been opportunities in the past to take advantage of it, but that's like the reality is private industry seeks loopholes to gain an advantage. And that person gained a massive advantage there, hugely. He's probably sitting there waiting for that to lapse. Or somebody just randomly said it. It's amazing how often it can be like, hey, did you know this law? What? So whatever the case may be, I like the accountability. I do. And government,
right? It worked in this case. It did.
In the end, they got their plan put together and moved forward. And look, I don't know if it's Santa Monica who created. I'm sure Santa Monica had some elements in the delay. Could have been the state approving it that there was a delay as well. Just collectively, government is not highly efficient. It's a struggle for me personally. I understand they're trying to check all boxes and make sure everything's covered. So there's going to be less efficiency, but it's protecting people. But they need to be on their toes and try to do it quicker. Because look, at the end, that inefficiency, as the saying goes, shit rolls downhill. It costs more to build. It costs more to rent. It all costs more. And at the end, that's the person who's either owning or living in the space because of the inefficiency of the governmental systems and the processes. So I do know this. The thought that comes to mind is, although those plans were approved, you know, Santa Monica could probably make it pretty fucking hard. Ooh, I'm just letting it flow today. The Santa Monica could probably make it pretty hard for them to build them and create more obstacles if they don't cooperate. Now that they've gotten their plan approved, there's going to be some cooperation. They'll backtrack and they'll negotiate a little bit. Right. Or they're going to, or the city will create like a $10 million additional cost for something. Now you have to dig 10 feet deep. That's all it takes. Right.
And on the side of the developers being experienced, they probably know, okay, well, if we throw this up, we'll get this amount of it.
Exactly.
We may not get it all.
Yes. They're walking in, they're going, you guys, I can't believe you did this to us. Well, great. So we have a little bit of an upper hand now. We're going to get more than we usually do. Yeah. But man, truly the cost of doing these things, the pushback, sometimes it's a personal internal struggle. And I don't think there's an absolute answer one way or the other, but the absolute inclusiveness, and I believe in inclusiveness pretty much across the board. But sometimes you can't please everyone. And these things just get so delayed as they try to please everyone. and so elongated and so many additional costs added. And,
Right.
you have to weigh the pros and cons. You can't have, and a lot of these things come down to very local elements, right? It's easy for the state to say we need more housing. We're looking at numbers. But
Right.
then the city goes, okay, then you're down to a region, then you're down to a block and a street number. And those people
Yeah.
are pushing back the hardest, the more local it gets
Yeah.
on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
You have to step back and look again at the bigger picture. I've been in that scenario personally, where I
Right.
don't want something locally to happen. And from the bigger picture, other people wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
So a balance of it all, but being efficient and being, negotiating and being real.
Yeah.
So I'm glad this happened
Yeah.
personally. Santa Monica
Yeah.
might get a lot more housing a lot quicker.
Well, I was going to say, if you just do the simple numbers, okay, so the developers had something like 4,000 units, uh, whatever affordable housing portion of that. Plus, I think I read 6,000 from the approved housing plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Santa Monica is not that big of a town, but they certainly have a homeless problem. They need more affordable housing. Maybe this kind of kicked them in the butt a little.
Right. Yeah, I was reading, and the articles continually come out, but all the attempts to deal with homelessness are just kind of out of control. Politicians just trying to throw band-aids at things. In the end, you absolutely need more housing, more spaces for people to occupy. Those of us who have lived in this city for a long time, people who continue to come, population continues to grow. One deterrent for growth is unaffordability.
Yeah.
But even unaffordability, there's a lot of people that aren't leaving. They're staying here, and they're moving into that difficult category of homelessness. I mean, yeah. So more housing is an answer in some cases, and I struggle again with this personally. All these things that are so personal because we live here.
Yeah.
If density is not in the cards for you,
Yeah.
LA is a huge metropolitan city. Maybe it's time to move on.
Yeah. Well, just to end out on this, on the local example, for you and for me to a certain degree, because I'm next door in Silver Lake, right? Echo Park, what happened over COVID, locals versus, people coming in protesting for the homeless. That was
Oh, at the
that was a
lake
mess.
itself.
Yeah.
Sure, a huge mess. And it's an ongoing mess, and it's a political football. They're still
Yeah.
using this election coming up next week. That is a political football. One
Mm-hmm.
politician saying, we're going to open it up. People can sleep in the park. People can. And the other one's like, wait a second. Hey,
Wait a
this,
minute. Is he running on that?
he has said that
Oh my
according
God.
to a neighbor I spoke with who lives adjacent to the park. And I'm sure there's some variation of that, but he is
Wow. Wow. Wow.
well, and that's definitely there is in Echo Park is always been very vocal
Yeah.
and very such it's an emotional space where people just say what they feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very supportive of people living in the park, and I personally struggle with that. I have
Yeah.
a ton of empathy for what's
Yeah.
going on, but there are different solutions, in my opinion.
Right.
And that park, it was a huge investment by the taxpayers, and I'm not. They always want to categorize it as the the hipsters or the wealthy want their property. It makes me angry. They talk about it being
Yeah.
property values. Look, it needs to be a safe space for people to exist. There's a lot of apartment dwellers that go to that park and
Yeah.
want to be
Sure.
safe and want to have outdoor space, and
Yeah.
and it's unsafe
Yeah.
to have those things. So bottom line is, we need more housing. We do need solutions for the
Right.
homelessness.
And
I
as you've
hope
always said too, and just to tie it all in, and we need public, government, and we need private to make it happen. Truly.
we do, and they need to work together. Man.
Yeah. Yep.
They
All right.
there are real solutions out there if people seek them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Let me get out of this. I'm going to move on to our seller wins and buyer wins. Let's see here. So there we go. So the first seller win that we're going to look at. Let's see here. is 2143 Panorama Terrace. Let me adjust my. Oops, sorry. Bear with. There we go. Okay. All right. So let me get back there. So yeah, 2143 Panorama Terrace. Really beautiful property. So it listed at 2,995,000, and it ended on a sold price of 3,680,000 for a $685,000 increase in price. It took 10 days on the market to sell. Percentage of price was 123%. And yeah, let's take a look. I really like this property.
Sure.
You can almost see why it went for that much. So, 2143 Panorama Terrace, Silver Lake, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet of living space, sold for $3,680,000. That might be up there in the record books. Days on market 10, and this was brought to us by Richard Ehrlich of Westside Estate Agency, a Westside brokerage. And on the buy side, our local agents, Rob Kallick and Matthew Morgus. So congrats
And
to
Morgus.
them.
Wow.
Yeah, he's back. He is back. But beautiful property. Really beautiful.
Yeah, this is yeah, it's well presented. It certainly looks like it's a lived-in property, not just all staging, and it shows very well. It's got a lot of architectural value. I never thought I'd like plywood so much, but here we are.
You know, and this kind of reminds me of something that's happening right now with some buyers of ours who are in almost sold, but it's in pending status now. Kelsey and Kevin, right? So the first remark here: iconic Silver Lake mid-century modern, conceived in 1953 by renowned architect James H. Garrett in collaboration with Gregory Ain for the acclaimed artist Bernice Burr Singer. You know, they found a beautiful mid-century Japanese-styled home out in Arcadia, and on top of it just being a great home, I think when you buy something like this, you know, in some degree, you're buying art, you
Sure.
know, and it's kind of timeless when you think of buying a property like this. So congrats to them. Hopefully we'll have some news for next week with them. But yeah, beautiful property.
Well,
All
and
right.
I'll emphasize that we talk about the emotional bump on a purchase, and that is the art side of it. It's just a personal preference, and whether something has more value as how it makes you feel and the visual appearance of it.
Yeah. Now the next one is 4634 Palmero Drive. And Darren, I wanted your help on this. I didn't look at the map, but it started at a list price of $1,249,000 and ended at $1,408,000 for a $159,000 increase in price. The percentage 113% of the list price. It took 9 days on the market to sell. Is this over at the end of Palmero? I think it is. Does this make sense?
I don't know that answer. Let me see.
Here, because I couldn't place this house. I was like, I think it's over there. But anyways, you look at that, and it's by your friends, the family. I think
Yes,
it's over there.
it's right at the end of Palmero there.
Is it? Okay, all right. Well, 4634 Palmero Drive. This is Mount Washington area. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,208 square feet of living space. Sold for $1,408,000. It's a 5,200 square foot lot. Let's see here. How many days on market? Well, we said 9. And this is brought to us by Rosa Garcia. And on the buy side, Josh Taylor. So congrats to them. I'm trying to see if there's any additional space. I think there is here. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great street. And the views are great. Nice architecture. It's on the smaller side, but that's pricing from from 3 to 6 months ago, and in some cases, we're
Uh-huh.
seeing that if
Yeah.
that you get that emotional bump. And the
Yeah.
additional thing you're getting there, which isn't represented in the square footage, is the
Uh-huh.
view,
Yeah. I
uh,
was going to say.
which just creates an overall feeling of being in the space.
Here we go. I knew there was another kicker. So, completely updated view home with permitted income generating ADU guest house located in the vibrant, family oriented, highly sought after Mount Washington. So, there is an ADU. Got it.
Mm.
Yeah, there it is in the back. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good price, actually. That's awesome. Okay. Next, let's move on to. We're going to go to 6134 Burwood. This started at a price of $1,049,000 and ended at $1,160,000 for $111,000 increase, 111% of price. Took 11 days on the market to sell. Hold on here. Sorry, guys. Just do this. All right. Okay, so 6134 Burwood Avenue. This is Highland Park. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,260 square feet of living space. Sold for $1,160,000. A 5,500 square foot lot. And let's see here, 11 days on the market to sell. And this was brought to us by Gregory Massey on the seller's side. And on the buyer's side, Tyler Rogina. So congrats to them. What do you think of that price, man?
I see it's funny. This house doesn't have like the entire package. Some of the finishes aren't quite there, but it's got some very nice features. It's got a
Yeah.
commanding front porch. Definitely feels like it's got some character. It's got vaulted ceilings, which were obviously added after. Yeah, I think they got a good price considering where we're at in the market, and Burwood is very close to Figueroa. It's got a usable garage. It's got a flat yard. All those things are relative. We talk a lot about the use of garages, and in this case, they finished it.
Yeah, a little hodgepodgey, but it's very nice, and you see some updates. Yeah, I think it is a good price. You're right. Okay, next we're going to move on to some buyer wins, and we're going to go to Loxley Place. Let's see here. There it is. So I think this is Silver Lake. So this started at $1,595,000, and this ended at $1,575,000 for a $20,000 reduction. Loxley's a nice street, though. So 2674 Loxley Place. This is Silver Lake, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,519 square feet of living space. And this took 17 days on the market, and brought to us by Alyssa Valentine, Kurt Wisner on the seller side, and somebody we know, Darren, Bradley Gilbo. So congrats to all of them. I forget, didn't Bradley, was that on Montecito Drive? Somewhere up there.
I'm trying to place it, man. I recognize the name.
Yeah, it was up in Montecito Heights.
Okay.
But anyway, good looking home. In some ways, I don't know why, but my first reaction was I felt the photography was a little limiting. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
the
impressed.
Shots felt a little cramped. Yeah. Everything felt like this.
Well, it's 1,500 square feet, and it looks like it's a duplex. So I don't know if it's listed as a duplex, but if you scroll through the photos, you get to that point where you see a second kitchen and the downstairs entrance. And,
there you go.
So yeah, it's a great neighborhood. And the units look very nice. Presented well.
They call it a guest unit with bamboo floors. Yeah, full kitchen and updated bath, though.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you could link it and see if it actually is an official duplex or not. But
Assessor shows 2 beds, 2 baths, and duplex. There it is in the private
yeah.
remarks.
Yep.
Yep. Keen eye. All right.
So it's
All
not a
right.
3-2. It's a 2-1 and a 1-1.
All
That's
right.
what it comes down to. So.
Okay. Let's move on to this is a little on the upper scale here. 5500 Red Oak Drive. And this listed at $4,595,000. It ended at $4,530,000 for a $65,000 decrease, 99% of list price. And I thought really nice property, but would you expect that for that price? Let's see here. So yeah, this is just real estate porn, I think, at this point. 5500 Red Oak Drive. This is Los Feliz, 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 5,100 square feet of living space. It's like 4 times the size of my house. $4,530,000. It's on an 18,558 square foot lot. 28 days on the market, and brought to us by Stefan Pompui and William Menezes. Looks like West Side agents, but yeah. Once again, just like the mid-century, not too much to really editorialize, other than it's a good-looking house. That's it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space.
Yeah.
Lots to look at. I mean, for me, it's always interesting to me. We just sold a $4 million house in Arcadia that was 8,000 square feet.
And we got used to it. Can I say that? I don't know if you got used to it, but I
You
find
can. I was thinking the same thing. Yes.
Funny is that?
Right? So, yeah.
That's funny.
Cool.
Just thought of that. All right. Well, great. Beautiful house. Congrats to those guys. Our final buyer win. We're going to go to Seaview. So 4167 Seaview Avenue. Started at a list price of $1,550,000, ended at $1,500,000 for a $50,000 reduction, 97% of list price, 16 days on the market, and we were looking at this for a buyer, Darren. I forget who. Let's see, 4167 Seaview Avenue. This is Mount Washington, 2-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,864 square feet of living space. Sold for $1,500,000 on a 19,505 square foot lot, and this took 16 days on the market. And this is brought to us by Paul Lester, Aileen Kimura, and Daniel Stevenson on both sides, representing the seller and the buyer. So congrats to them. I think the problem with this one, it was all Hillside.
Oh, hell.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if this was Kelsey or Kevin. I forget who it was. But beautiful looking house, a lot of beautiful light and air and space there. But yeah, somewhat limited. I think also too, this may have been a victim of it. This was a cul-de-sac, but it was also a hiking path. They may have gotten a lot of foot traffic by there. But look, beautiful.
Yep.
Okay. I think this was owned by a famous person too. I forget. Okay, so there you go. Seller and buyer wins. We hope it's some help to you as you look at our Northeast Los Angeles market. Darren, we're now going to turn to your side of it, new listings in the last 7 days. So when you're ready, just give me your addresses that interest you.
Sure, let's look at 2523 Ivanhill Terrace.
Ivanhill Terrace. All right. So this looks like Silver Lake.
Yeah, it is Silver Lake.
All right. Get in here. All right. So 2523 Ivanhill Terrace. This is Silver Lake, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,580 square feet of living space. It's on a 5,600 square foot lot, and it is active. It is listed at $1,279,000, and it's only 2 days on the market so far. This is brought to us by Lauren Reichenberg. So congrats to her on getting this done. What do you
Yeah,
think of it?
it's going to be probably at the top of our list on a seller win in the future. This is heavily underpriced
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this neighborhood, this area, 1,000,003. It's going to go up a couple 100,000 at least.
I was going to say 1.6. Yeah,
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 it should be in that range for sure, and it might even
yeah.
go up from there based on seeing it and determining the flow and all that. But
All
yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm always the values always stand out to me, and this, if it's sold at that price, would be an incredible value.
Right. All right. We'll see what happens to that one. Let's see.
Jumping on the other side, out to Eagle Rock, 5127 Vincent. We've been looking at a couple properties on Vincent. Usually, good values. This one is
Yeah.
is priced. It's up there. So I'm curious to see. Yeah, it's got the right vibe, the right energy.
All right. Yeah. All right. So 5127 Vincent Avenue, Eagle Rock. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,697 square feet of living space. Listed at $2,399,999. Let's see, 7,500 square foot lot, and opens 11/4. That's tomorrow from 11 to 2. So Friday, and then on Sunday 1 to 4. Let's see, what else do we have here? 2 days on the market so far, and this is brought to us by Joshua Stein Sapir and Brad Keys, and Annie Keys, a relation, I'm sure. So congrats to them on getting this out. Looks like
Yeah,
a
so
hit, doesn't it?
it does. For me, the question is it too modern? I mean, they did a lot of things right. I don't like seeing all those can lights in the ceiling. I feel like they should be white on white. Got some weird rock work in there that's all painted white.
Yeah, yeah.
And gosh, I mean, the one thing that really stands out to me that clearly could appeal, but these are, or at least the Keys group is Valley agents. They took this large yard and put all new grass.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was there and you're maintaining it, okay, but they put AstroTurf in there on this entire yard now, and it, grass photographs well, and it looks good.
Right.
It's definitely not the direction we're going at in these communities that we serve.
True.
So,
True. That's a good observation. All right. Well, we'll see what happens to that one. Yeah, I wondered if they were just working with that stone or they put in that stone that you're talking about.
I feel like they had to have been working with it. I can't imagine they would have installed
It's outside and it's inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What else you have out there?
Oh gosh, what is this? 5132 Dahlia Drive.
Uh-huh. Okay. Broken link. Let's see what that is. All right. Okay, 5132 Dahlia Drive, again, Eagle Rock, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,605 square feet of living space, listed at $1,249,000. We have, it looks, a 10,000 square foot lot. That's nice. Open houses are today, 11 to 2. Let's get over there. And then I guess that is Saturday, 2 to 4 p.m. Let's see, 1 day on the market just came out. And this is brought to us by Keely Myers. All by yourself, Keely Myers.
Yeah, this is underpriced quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
I know it's, at least from photos, looks like a cosmetic fixer. Some surface improvements would greatly benefit. But it's a big lot in a great neighborhood, and decent sized house. 1249 is just too low. It will go up.
Yeah. Huh. And on the CRMLS, which is not our local, right? What is that? Pasadena. What is that? Okay.
All right. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, here, let me jump out of this stuff. Um, okay, so Darren, you got any words of wisdom? I have some.
Go for it.
All right, all right. I asked myself this question, and I say, go to Art Unite, November 17th. If you're an artist, we do have a deadline of November 9th to at least get your submission in online, and then drop off to the gallery on the 14th, Monday. And artists come as well, and we'll see you on the 17th. Thanks again. That's it. That's my words of wisdom. Help us out.
Only one other comment. If you can't make it on the 17th, because I know we're all
Yes.
so busy,
Yes, sir.
you can bid online, you can donate online. Please participate in that way. We'd love to see you, but we also want to see if you can help out.
Amen. Okay, guys. Take care. We'll see you next week. Bye now.
Bye.